See, this is how unorganized I am. It's not even a proper podcast. Ignore that intro. It's been a long day. Let me know if you can hear me, guys. Let me know if you can hear me. You're 5x5, as they say. We can hear you. Yes, awesome. Yeah, Brian, just let's ping me a message when you're back. If I'm still on, then I'll chuck you an invite if you want to come and join me. Just want to do an update and do some monitoring, as it were. But right, first thing first, let's just change this on the top. Can we do it midstream? If this all breaks now, I really apologize. There we go. Now it's the right branding. Jeez. Honestly, they've doubled the price of this software, and in doing so, they've also made it worse. Excellent. Great choice. 25 people in here at the moment. Hello to everyone. Border Wanderer, Scottish Prepper 73, Rod Solar UK, Katazian, I think that's right. Kirsty, Lady J, Leanne, loads of yous in here. Robert Foster. I will try and get into chat. If you have any questions, feel free. But first of all, let's do an update. What's this all about? I apologize. I've literally just finished a 40-minute stream on another channel. I've got in the door 2 minutes before I started. I'm all over the place, but we'll muddle through. So 2 CMEs are heading for Earth, right? There was a X 7.1 solar flare, and then there was an X 9.1. The X 7.1 was yesterday, and the X 9.1 was today. Now, alone, a 7 or a 9, although could make really bright auroras. These are stronger than the ones that hit when you all saw the Northern Lights. On their own, usually wouldn't cause any issues, but the fact that they can catch up with each other and cannibalize into one big one is where we could potentially start to worry. I don't think, I'm hoping, but I don't think the UK grid should be affected. I think we've got quite a strong grid. We've got a lot of contingencies in there, so we could be all right, but definitely places with less structured grids and parts of America that could suffer. But it could be even worse than that, because the magnetosphere has been weakened in recent times. So this is a real test, and it's a really interesting of what could possibly happen. The first is scheduled to strike on the 4th, and the second technically is scheduled to strike on the 6th. This is as it stands at the moment. But what happens is the first CME clears the way for the other one, so the other one can go actually faster, and that's where we end up with the Cannibal one. So that's the dates they would be scheduled if they were just on their own, but they could catch up with each other. And it's the strongest flare we've had yet this solar cycle completely. Does it make me weird on one level to have a little power cut? You won't have a power cut, will you? You're off grid anyway. So let's show you what we can with this one. So I apologize, but we're going to have to do everything via here. So I am using a laptop because my computer, and I haven't got £500-600 to fix what I need to fix on it. I'm not going to have that till well after Christmas anyway, so we will muddle through. So let me just share this screen, and hopefully it won't all lag up on you. Okay, so here's the graph data first from Space Weather Live. This peak here, this was Tuesday, October the 1st. It's 10 past 10 UTC time, so you can convert that to whatever you want. And that's the X 7.15. Now, altogether, it was in X class for around an hour from start to finish. We've had several M classes on the way. This is unusual. If you look here, we've got a drop right down to A 0.36. Now, I've never seen that. I can only assume this is a sensor issue. And then, of course, we had the X9.05 today, which is just insane. It really is. So they've both emitted CMEs. Let's see if we can show you. There's the X7. That's the actual footage of it. I did put a video up of it. Sorry, like I say, I'm just loading this stuff on the fly. And that's the halo. So that emission there is the CME. Here is the sun at the moment, the current solar disk. And you can see it's just insane. And this is where all the activity is coming from at the moment, 3842. And that's where both flares have come from. So it's directly Earth facing. This is not a glancing blow. This is straight at us. Worrying thing is 3848 over here on the left is coming around, and that looks even bigger. We'll do the comparison we usually do. For comparison, this was the Carrington event. But that was all the sunspots visible on the Carrington event. You combine this and this and this, and it's a lot more active now than it was. And it is believed that the Carrington event wasn't a singular flare either, that was the same sort of thing where it was multiple, one after the other, which created the cannibal effect with the CMEs. So that's what we're looking at the moment as well. I'm going to try and glance through your comments. Hello, Miss Worm. How you doing? Nice to see you here. If you have any questions, please pop them in. What's that? Dude, no, I can count on you. I think this one's going to be wild like earlier this year. Yeah, the one that we saw the auroras on was nowhere near the size of this. So we're not going to see anything till tomorrow, I don't think. This is a cool little resource here, Aurora Reach map. And this is where I see where the aurora is showing at the moment. There's no point in monitoring this bit at the moment because they're not arrived. The question is, when it arrives tomorrow, whether it's going to be the evening or what have you, it's not an exact science. So these things, we just got to wait and see. And we watch the KP rating to see whether that will cause the auroras. Hopefully we get to see some light shows and no adverse effects. I think it'll be off the chart. Tempest says, what's the predicted KP index with both X flares firing in quick succession? We saw the KP rating go well above the 9 mark, which it goes to. I can't remember the name of the other site. What's the name of the other site? That's the one, Potsdam. So when the KP rating is past here, 9, we have this HP30 index. This doesn't stop. This goes all the way up. So if it's a KP rating of above 9, it will keep going. So this will go up to whatever, 30 pretty much. So we can see what it would be. When we were having the auroras, it was peaking between 9 and 10. And I think we're going to see that, if not worse, to be fair. But again, it's a roll of the dice. It caused a deep shortwave blackout over Africa and South Atlantic. Ham radio operators in the area may have noticed signal loss of frequencies below 30. Of greater interest is the CME. This is the chronograph images showing the halo. So you can see that there as it comes up, that bit there. Yeah. So very interesting indeed. One of the other sources I always use that you will see on my monitoring is HelioViewer. This is always the latest image of the sun. And this is what I generate videos off of the flare. You can change the measurement and the instrument and stuff like that, which is cool. So what we're going to do Actually, we'll put it on 131 and I'll actually show you this. Select the area here and we're going to do it over, will 2 days cover it just about? Yeah, let's do a week just in case. 30 frames, 30 seconds. Okay, that's going to generate a video and we should be able to see the flares on that. In the chat, what else? Emerald, by the way, I'm back with my preps now. Everything can go down. Yes, Emerald Isle prepper was away in Germany, so he's kind of glad to be back there. So a good day to enjoy a beer and see what the dice rolls. Yeah, definitely. I want a coffee though, not a beer. See cyclist faces. I'm your car. It's called bad drive. What? I don't know what you guys are on about. Honestly, can we keep it on topic or what? Yeah. So, in fear of sounding like, as Brian likes to call me, Canadian Mikey, it's scary times. It really is. It's starting to rise there as well. So these have been back to back. I think luckily, hopefully, because the 7 is due to hit tomorrow, we'll be okay by the 9. But oh god, you'll get banned for that one, Brian. You'll get banned for that one. Not even comedy. Kind of major issue if that spot lets another X class go in another short space of time. Yeah, so the problem we've got is the 7 will hit, it'll weaken the magnetosphere, and then the 9 will hit. So we'll see. X 9.0, I love how it says X 9.0 solar flare, strongest flare of solar cycle 25. It was X 9.1, not 9.0. So 9.05. There you go. Don't forget the 0.05. It makes all the difference. But just look at the flares in the last 24 hours here. And you can see, because you bear in mind, it's not just the X. We're getting hit with these M classes constantly as well. You guys are going to I'm just going to kick you all out. I'm just going to kick you all out. It's ridiculous. At least some people are keeping it on topic. Sol's another big boy sunspot coming into view. This solar cycle is nothing like 24. Yeah, I've never seen it this active. I've been monitoring it for several years, and this is probably the worst. That's the big one coming into view now. 3848. Not just that though. Have we got it? Where have we got it? In the real time. There we go. This is the far side as well. So that's the Earth side here. So these are the spots we're seeing. Them 3. That's the dot here is the one coming around. Look at the far side. Look how much all of this, everything on these outside areas here and here are the spots on the far side. So if you think the Earth side looks bad now, look what's coming. It's absolutely insane. It really is. I mean, don't get me wrong. They can look like this and they can go across without emitting an X class all day long. But obviously, the more there is, the higher the odds. So it's scary. It's be very interesting to see over the next few weeks. Definitely. I'd love to have my live monitoring up, but you know, unless a random sponsor wants to send me a computer from a shop, we're stuck with what we've got here. So let's remove that at the moment. Flares are popular in the 60s. Brian, you're really not helpful. I've bunged some kit into a Faraday bin. Oh dang, maybe I do need to start prepping. Feels like it's trying for another Carrington event or close to one. Hopefully not before I can finish watching Dexter. There you go. Make sure you got it downloaded and on a pen drive so you can watch it after SHTF. Regarding this though, technically I do it as well. I've got my Faraday tin here. That's mainly EMP. Bear in mind the waves that come off with a CME, it's large aerial objects. That's why it would affect the grid. It should not affect your phone and your smaller electronics. What it will do though is if it comes through the grid and it's that powerful and it fries the lines, bear in mind it set fire to telegraph lines in 1859 when it happened for the Carrington event. House fires is one of your big preps for this. Yeah, if you're prepping for a solar flare or a Carrington style event, you need to prep for house fires and stuff like that because your wiring can go. So make sure that's on your list of preps to do, and unplug anything that doesn't need to be plugged in on a regular basis. I mean, that's just good practice anyway, but if something's plugged in, when it hits, it's gone. Trust me. All my computer setup will be just like fried. So even more than it already is. There you go. Miss Worm, I unplug everything every night anyway. Causes a few problems with Mr. Worm's iron lock. Oh well. Has he got a will? Yeah. So any questions on that stuff then, guys? I'm not sure what else to show you. I am literally going to be watching it, monitoring it, keeping an eye on it. Let's see how this movie came out before we put it on there. Oh. Yeah, there's the one. Will it get the 9 in? Oh, Christ. That's having a hard time. Let me, can I make this bigger? I'll bigger this for you. I know that's a technical term. Check this out. So this is the last week of the solar. This is the 131 measurement tool. You see the flares much clearer on this. I'll have a look at Glasgow shortly, Mr. Hall. Let's check this out as it comes round. You can see little flares happening there, and that's the active area here. You can see, wow, that was the 7. Yeah, did you see that bit? Let's go back. That was the 7. Look what it does to the sensor itself. You get static all around. It doesn't, it almost knocks it out a bit. There. Now check this out. Now I'm not sure what's happening there, but that correlates with them 2 dips that drop below A. So I'm not sure what's going on there. And then you'll see the 9 just here. Big bada boom. Shorter, but more intense, the 9 there. The flash. That's sick. Is it so? Let's go. Here we go. So this is what D Hall is on about here. Tell you what, we'll do the same. We'll render it over 7 days and we'll have a look at what it's been doing. Week, 30 frames. There we go. Let's go. We'll let that render. I've lost me, and we'll come back to that when it's rendered. When the electricals even work, Ryan. Hi, Steve. How's it going? Most local councils have no idea what a Carrington event is. Well, this is no surprise at all, TXM. Carrington event sounds like some sort of aristocratic gathering. Chin chin. Let's all go to the Carrington event. If it is possible, it's underestimating the length of the X9 with the potential screen glitching. I don't think it's underestimating the length of the X9. If we look at the data that we've got on the graphs, it's not as long. So the X7 peaked and like came out slowly, whereas the 9 was up and straight down. Yeah, so it was like it wasn't as long, but it was more intense. So I think that's accurate with the flashes on there, but I'm not sure what that weird breaking up was, but it does correlate with them 2 moments where the sensors drop down to an A. It's never at an A. A is very unusual. Let's have a look at the Lasgo. I'm just going to make sure it's working. Wow. Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. You want to see? There we go. You ready for this one? Last 7 days, remember? Boom. Still going. Still not hit today's. Wow. Look at that. See that emission then. So that's that. Just before that was the 7 on the 2nd up here. There. Actually, no, the 7 was just before that. Sorry, I don't know how far I'm skipping back here. Yeah, and it's this final emission down here. It's all sides. Look at that. That's insane. Cool or what? There we go. Most folk have never heard of Carrington event or even understand what a similar one could do to our modern electrical society. It's very sad. It is, Lisa, and isn't it weird that it's not something you learn at history in school and stuff like that? And it was a major, major event. I learned about the American Civil War, 1860s and all that, but no one ever mentioned the Carrington event before that. It's just insane how it just doesn't get taught, as it were. The sun has got some serious indigestion. Lovely and potentially dangerous, yeah. Haven't there been reports of Carrington was around X35 in total? Right, so this is very all over the place, Lisa. And it's obviously we're basing on drawings and sightings of auroras and how far down it was and stuff like that. And that's the only thing they can gauge it off. So nobody's got the actual number. We didn't have the instruments reading it, of course. Now, the theory is that it wasn't a singular flare. So it wouldn't have been like an X35 bang straight at Earth kind of thing, but it could have been similar to what we're having now, where you've got this X7 followed by an X9, followed by something else, and creating that Cannibal CME that then has the mass effect. So that's one of the theories. Another theory is it was an X50 odd. Another theory, I've heard one scientist say it was an X14, which doesn't sound like that's too insane, but to cause that much damage, that's scary if it was only an X14. But I think the Cannibal theory is probably got the most validity there. Did NASA or Tamitha say something about a cannibal? I'm not sure. Love me a bit of a power cut. Alabama Whitman. It might not be a bit of a power cut, buddy. It might be a permanent power cut. Yeah, so just have another look at that footage for you. The people still in here. Here's the flares over the last 7 days. Bear in mind that Cannibal affected them CMEs, and not just these two X-class flares. The M-class will release bits as well, so it all can build up. And it's the level of solar storm we've got to be watching now. Bang, there's your 7. There's the weird glitch. And the 9's coming there. That's the 9.1 there. Let's slow down the 9.1. I'm going to slow down that 9.1 and have a closer look at it. Just bear with me. Let's get it on 304 first. See, this is why I need my computer back. The live monitoring was much simpler than doing all this. Let's confirm that. Okay. Hi Kelly, how you doing? I've no weather news at the moment. No, I'm not been looking. Should I be? What's going on? What have I missed? Surge protector plugs any good? If it was something the scale of a Carrington event, no, frankly. That's the only way it's going to affect you, if it's something as big as the Carrington event that will affect the grid and the lines. And like I say, one of your biggest worries then is going to be house fires and your lines going in your thing. It will, the power that comes through it would blow any surge protector. I'm not sure if it would cut off quick enough, but could be wrong. I mean, if you've got them, use them. It couldn't hurt, but my recommendation is if we see it coming, unplug everything. I think the next 24 hours are going to be crucial, because the 7 is far enough away from the 9 to not be cannibalized. So it can hit, and then we've got a bit of a break, and then the 9 will hit. But in the next 24 hours, if another one's released, that will catch up with that 9. And that would be huge. So yeah, that's the biggest concern at the moment. So despite my monitoring software not being available to show you guys, I will still be watching it. There's 47 of you in here. That's absolutely crazy. Hit the like if you're new to the channel. Subscribe. It's not always just me ranting about the sun or rambling about the sun. It's usually prepper related stuff or other stuff like that. And while I've got you all here, on Sunday we do our members draw once a month, and this time you can win a ham radio. So that's a cool little prize to give away to one of our members this month. This movie's ready. Let me check. Make sure we've captured it right. Nope, that doesn't show it properly. Sorry, I've used the 304 measurement tool. I'm going to have to switch it to back to the 131 because it is not showing what we need it to show. Let's have a look back at the comments. Looks like it's pooping an M flare at the moment. Let's have a look. Too many screens. Yep, we're up to M603 on mine. NCUSA is in shambles. One company using pack mules to get relief supplies up into the mountain communities that were devastated. Wow. Jesus. They've got a logistics strike going on at the same time, right? That's not going to help, is it? I told my wife I got a guy for solar flares. I'll let you know if we're gonna die. I like it, Gemma. I like it. Had a UPS blow from a lightning strike for a Carrington event. Anything that can act as an aerial will conduct, e.g. an unplugged power cable. Yeah, but it's about, with the Carrington event and with what comes from a CME, it's about the size of the waves. So it has to be a large aerial, hence the power grid being affected because of the power lines. M6.53, is that peaked? Is that going back down now? I'm 603 here. Oh, God, I wish I had my other PC. So frustrating. We are in a mess in the eastern US. We really don't need anything else. Wow, what is going on with this storm then? Oof, that's a big sausage. No, the risk is high all the way up the coast. That's insane. Let's see if Monkey Wrench comes on and see how he's getting on. Seeing the Northern Lights was on my bucket list. Now I may have a chance to see it again. Last one was spectacular. Well, to be fair, John, if it hits at the right time, this 9, which should be in a couple of days' time, then as long as it's nighttime when it hits, I'll keep an eye on the Aurora Reach map of the next 24, 48 hours so we can watch that. But it should be stronger than the last one. So pray for no cloud. That's the main thing. Let's see if this has rendered the close-up of the X9. And that's the 7. Yeah, it's definitely messed with the sensors big time. It's so weird. Have a look at this. This is the up close. That was the 7 just dying down there that you saw. It's peaked at 6.7. Hi, Justin. How you doing? Appreciate you being here. There we go. Crazy. Crazy. So even these M classes, this M6.7, if they're releasing CMEs as well, can be dangerous because it can all catch up with each other. I do think that this is far enough apart to not cannibalize. But like I say, next 24 hours is going to be key. I'm good, Justin. I'm good. Well, I'm not good. I was just telling people there that the PC I use for the solar monitoring is kaput. And there's no chance of me replacing it, especially before Christmas. So I'm on a laptop and we're doing what we can. Hey, Lone Wolf, how's it going? Nope, that's not good. That's not good. So if any of you 47 people in here happen to own a computer shop, I will give you a plug every day. Just replace my computer. I'm joking. It's fine. After Christmas, I'll sort it out. But, you know, kids and Christmas. It's just weird not having all the graphs on the screen at once, flicking between everything. Let's pull that Lasgo up again. That was a cool little video to share with people. I do like this. Oh, that's better. All good, all good. Hectic, but good. It's weird because you kind of, I love seeing stuff like this, but then part of me's like, just calm down now, no more. We know what it's usually like. When I turn the monitoring on, it usually goes quiet, so. That's the Carrington event for anyone just joining us. The grey in the middle. The black shading, we assume, is the main sunspots, and the grey shading around the outside is the orange that we see on here. So you can see in comparison, it's quite intense, and it's got an even more recent solar disk on here, which you can see it's even stronger there. And this 3842 is the culprit. And the reason the next week's going to be key is because this is the far side on this one. So the left of this and the right of this is the far side of the sun. And these are the spots we see now. So if you look at the size comparison and then look at what's coming around the corner, the next couple of days is going to be very interesting to see what peaks around the side of that sun. Let me know. Just give us a shout, Phil. Let me know what you want me to fill you in on. I try not to do much technical jargon. So we'll read the main headline again for the people just joining us. Two CMEs are heading for Earth. Confirmed 2 CMEs are now heading for Earth following consecutive X flares, X7.1 and X9.1 from active sunspot AR3842. According to NOAA and NASA models, the first will strike Earth on October the 4th, and the second, more potent one, will strike on October the 6th. The dual impact could spark strong G3 class geomagnetic storms with auroras at mid-latitudes. So that's past us. CME impact alerts. The strongest flare yet, sunspot AR3842 exploded again today, producing the strongest solar flare of solar cycle 25. I think predicting a G3 class geomagnetic storm is mild, considering the X6 we had produced G5s. So it's interesting. I feel like they're underestimating that, but we shall see. It's all quiet on the KP index at the moment, obviously, but tomorrow is where we'll start to see a difference. Yeah, sorry. CME is coronal mass ejection. Trying to think what else. I've just got used to saying the stuff, but just seeing if we can update this footage. Oh, cheers, Miss Worm. Thank you. Didn't even think of that. Hi, Lana. Lana, I know exactly what's wrong with it, so it's not a case of that. I'm bottlenecked with my motherboard and CPU, and the graphics card's gone. So I need a new graphics card, but my bottleneck is my CPU at the moment, so technically I need to upgrade that as well. But the graphics card being gone, it won't handle the onboard graphics won't handle anything that I'm throwing at it at the moment, so it's just lagging and freezing up. Look at you guys all sorting out the acronyms. You're awesome. Thank you, Kata. Really appreciate that. Yeah, I'm not sure how long we hang out here for, because I don't want you to just sat there being bored waiting for something to happen when it might not. So usually I've got some sort of script or agenda when it comes to a live, or I've got the monitoring on and I can just let you watch the graphs, but that's not the thing. Let's I tell you what, let's pull up Solar Ham, because that might give you a more wide. I'm not a fan of the site. It looks like something tacky from the 80s, but at least we might see, we can share it a bit better. There we go. I'm not a fan of this site, but it's a lot of data in one place at least. So it's, you know, as close to my original monitoring as we can get at the moment. I'm quite flattered that I'm the lesser of the two evils. Anyone know if the Mission Darkness bags are any good? Itching to buy, but not want another useless prep. Somebody commented on one of the shorts I did before I released the video with that stuff from Amazon, including the Mission Darkness bags. Somebody commented on one of my videos before that video was even out and mentioned them, said they were brilliant. They'd tested them with the ham radios, they'd tested them with the phone signals, and they did seal up really well, and no signal got through. So as far as I know, Neil, they're good to go. But I mean, obviously read reviews, do your own research and all that lovely stuff. I'd love to get one and check it for you, but it's out my budget. I'll ask Mrs. Urban Prepper for one for Christmas, maybe. I quite like Solar Ham. It's handy. It is, but I mean, does anyone remember like the old downloading music softwares like WinMX? That's the vibe I get from it. It's just a lot going on. There we go. This is what I want to see. CMEs. But see, this is what I don't like either. Look, it's behind as well. This is why I don't use Solar Ham. Event is the X 7.1, and that's the one event that they've got on there. Yet we know there's been the 9, so it always seems to be quite a bit behind. This is why I've never been a fan of it. Good point there, Justin. By the way, it's possible that Sunspot 3842 has a chance to produce an X15 plus flare because it's still continuing to grow. It doesn't even need to produce that, to be fair. If it produces another one of the same sort of magnitude over the next 24 hours, that will cannibalize the 9 and that will create a CME that's the equivalent of like an X18, X20 sort of thing. So we just got to hope it stays quiet for the next day or two. Yeah, I have a Mission Darkness bag and pouch. They do block phone signals. I've tested them, hoping not to find out. CME EMP. Yeah. It's as much testing as you want to find out, right? There you go. So Dominique Munford said they've got them. So they do look really cool, though, to be fair. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, be wearing this as a child. Ah, dear. Donny just saw that one, John. EBSB, extremely big sunburp. I'm going to use that one. I like it. See, this feels like it's behind as well. Let's just check that against this. That's taking its time to level off. Yeah, and they're only predicting a G3 storm for this one, Justin. So I think that's a massive under prediction on their part. So we shall see what happens with that. Hurricane Kirk that we might see the remnants of at the end of next week. Yeah, it's insane. Oh wow, Paul, 1999 super sticker. That's awesome. Thank you very much. That's probably the biggest super sticker I've had. That's absolutely awesome. Thank you so much for that. It's really, really appreciated. £300 that buys quite a lot of steel plate. Maybe dig the welder out and have a go myself. Cheers for the replies. Yeah, have a look at the brand though on Amazon. There's the big hold all that's cost like 300 quid, but they do one that I want. It's only like 80 or 90 quid, and it's about the same size, but it's a dry bag. So it's like folds up, so it's not as expensive, but I think it looks better, to be fair. Yep, thank you, Paul. It's really, really appreciated. That's awesome. I wonder if the solar energy was supercharged the typhoons and storms. You know, I want to speak to somebody about this. I want to speak to a scientist about this in the know, because it so happens that the weather does seem to correspond with it. I don't think it's, as far as I knew, it's not supposed to have a direct effect, but it certainly seems to be that way. What do the Mission Darkness bags do that my metal rubbish bin don't? They're a bit more portable. They're a bit more practical than carrying a rubbish bin around. If you were on the go, you imagine if you use the Mission Darkness bag as your in-car bag, your get-home bag, with all your stuff in, and it's an EMP that strikes. Yes, it may take your car out, but at least the electronics in your get home bag will still work, radios and so forth. And then if you have somebody at home that has the other radio in your trash can, then you can communicate with them. It's a good thing for on the go. You're not going to put a trash can in the back of your car. Most people won't anyway. So that's the logic behind it, TXM. And take advice from me and Scottish Prepper. make sure you fully test that metal rubbish bin. Don't just think, oh, Canadian Prepper said put that in there, put the lid on, and it's all good. Test it. Brian went through loads and loads of layers to try and actually seal it off because it was still getting a signal through a standard metal bin. So make sure you fully test your Faraday cages as best you can. What's happening? What's happening? There we go. Right. Should we recap on the let's take this down for a second. We'll recap on the main headlines today. 2 CMEs are heading for Earth. Following consecutive X flares X 7.1 and X 9.1 from active sunspot AR 3842. According to NOAA and NASA models, the first strike will hit Earth on the 4th of October and the second will hit on the 6th. The dual impacts could spark strong geomagnetic storms. Hence, auroras could be seen all the way down to mid-latitude and hopefully not destroy our electricity grid. But we are monitoring it closely for the next 24 hours because the threat is if something else is released in the next 24 hours, it will cannibalize the X 9.1. So even if it's like an X 1, 2, 3, it will take the X9 as well, and it will usually it's got to be higher because it's faster, but it will join up and it will hit us all at once, and it could be devastating. I think Brian may join me at some point. I'm going to make sure he's got the invite now. Just bear with me in case he wants to join. While everyone's here, don't forget about the prepper meets. We've got the Scottish prepper meet in June next year, which is filling up super fast, and hopefully one in Wales and one in the Midlands, which I'll get you some details on soon. Hopefully Brian can come on and tell you all about his experience with Faraday cages. I've sent him the invites. We'll see if he joins us. Pretty colours in the sky, please. Yes, that would be nice. No one's punching your back window through to steal a bin. Yeah, but honestly, can you drive around with a steel bin in the back of your car all the time? I know I can't. There's too much kids stuff in there. The bag just seems the logical one for me. We know it's a big one, Anthony. We know it's X 9.1's the largest flare that we've had of solar cycle 25. So it's going to be a huge impact either way. Hopefully that's still low enough to not affect any of our electricity and we just get an awesome light show. So hopefully we all get to see the Northern Lights a bit more clearer than last time. Let's pray for no cloud wherever we are. Yeah. And inside. And make sure you line it with cardboard. There's many aspects to it. Brian says he's taking his lad to work, but he's probably cooking a fray bentos just in case, potentially. Our car is a steel bin. I love it. I've sent you an invite, Brian, if you'd like to come on, and somebody's singing the praises of a steel bin as a Faraday cage. We'd love your input on it. Two minutes. There we go. Have some company and not just me. That is the best outcome for us. Pray for those in line of large storms. They will intensify. Just watch. Yeah, definitely. Hopefully everyone's safe. 2 minutes. Pie is nearly ready. You've got a name for yourself here, Brian. You're the pie guy. It's not a mathematician reference either. Well, that M class is dropping off now at least. Not sure how long we'll go for, guys. We'll get Brian on for a bit of a chat, but won't be super late. Steel bin tornado movie comes to mind. My Faraday cage is a metal hinge trunk lined with rubber and sealed around the lid with copper tape. Sounds good. Sounds good. Have you tested that, John? Have you tested it with phone signal and radio signal and stuff like that? I've got a similar sort of setup, but it's an ammunition box that I had to seal off the holes and scrape the paint so the metal was making contact all the way. And then I foiled lined the inside and cardboard lined it. I did a video on it a while back, but it works really well, to be fair. I still want to get one of those bags though. Yeah, likely produce a CME. Yeah, I mean, but the fact it's lower power than obviously the X9, it won't catch it up. I don't think to cannibalize it. It has to have the power to kind of chase. Seal everything inside your homemade Faraday cage, individual wrapping, and everything wrapped in bubble wrap plastic bags. And seal your homemade cage or bin with aluminium tape around the lid. Yeah, if you can do that. So if you can do that with preps that you can put away and set and forget, brilliant. But I have one that I can access easier, so I can put stuff in and take it out as and when. Because although there's stuff in there all the time, I do use it and need it sometimes. So mine's not really a set and forget. I've not got the expendable income to really do that at this stage. Everything seems to happen in October. Yeah, bloody Halloween. Yeah, tested with both phone and radio. Awesome. What do you keep in it, John? Just out of curiosity, what's your priorities in your Faraday cage? That's an interesting question. Sounds like a thing you'd find an MI5 employee trapped in. Okay, I'm confused at that one. Oh. Let's have a look. We've got 45 people in. Let's have another look at the videos. People that missed it before. While we wait for Brian to arrive. This is the Lasgo C2, which will show the halos, which is the CMEs. And this is up until the X9.1. See the time and date across the bottom there. So we start on the 29th. There's the man.
Hello there.
Hello.
You sound awful.
Oh, I know. Honestly, it's been non-stop today. Please explain what you had to go through with your metal bin. Because
What did I have to go through?
according to our Canadian colleague, you can just go and buy one from the hardware store and throw your electronics in. So,
Yeah, he's full of shit.
yeah, explain your journey with the bin.
My journey almost involved a diagnosis and having Tourette's, mate, by the time I'd finished it. I spent hours swearing at a steel bin. You would have thought I was in 321. For the older people amongst us, you might remember a quiz show called 321 with Dusty Bin. Well, I was going to stab Dusty Bin to death. On all the videos I've watched, it was dead simple. You buy the steel bin, you put some cardboard in it, make a wee gasket on it, stick your radios in, everything's pucker. Silence is golden. Well, that's a lot of crap. I put the radio in, blaring out tunes, there was no problem. Walkie-talkies the same, phoned another phone, did the same. So I then lined it with tinfoil. That cut out the radio, and it partially cut out the walkie-talkies. All right, okay. So then I lined the bin, then improved the gasket. That eventually cut out the walkie-talkies. You could still dial the phone. Much swearing later, still didn't make any difference. Invoked several religious deities, still didn't help. So ripped all the tinfoil out, put another layer of tinfoil in, mylar bags, cut them up, put them round with aluminium foil tape on them, and the cardboard on top of that. And eventually it stopped the mobile phone signal going through. But they're on a shorter wavelength than the radios. So it largely depends on the threat you perceive and how close you are to the energy when it's radiated. If you're right underneath an EMP, then obviously your protection is going to need to be really, really good. If you're further away, as the energy starts to dissipate, then you'll get away with a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's not, when you watch it on the videos, you see the bin and they put some cardboard in and they put the lid on and miraculously everything stops working. They're full of shit. They must be turning the thing on and editing the video. They must be.
Well, YouTube is not real. What?
Honest to God, I was beginning to think there was something wrong with me. Well, more than usual.
6 hours later, he realised he bought a plastic bin.
It was a pain in the ass.
Yeah, because people were just talking about them midnight, them Faraday bags.
I've never tried one, to be honest.
Yeah. Before I put that video up, I'd already edited it. Somebody commented on one of my shorts and said that they've got one and it was awesome. So I was like, oh, well, I'm glad I've kind of put that in there. So I just think it's, if you're going to have a get home bag, then, and you are preparing for an EMP, then you're going to want to protect on the go, right?
I'd agree with that. Yeah. Obviously, everything comes with a price point. Yeah. That's what it all boils down to. When it's all said and done, people say you can prep on a low budget. You certainly can, but the more money you've got, the easier it is. That's the surest shit, and that's the real world.
Yeah. John C said plastic is an insulator. Perhaps put plastic tub in a metal box.
You want something effectively like a can or something that will allow the wave to pass round about it. Right? That's basically what you want. So whatever you choose to use is fine.
So would you say cylindrical is better then?
Well, when you think of the stealth fighters and stuff, the early ones used what they called faceting. Yeah. So ironically, they stole, by useless trivia, they stole it off the Russians. Some guy wrote a paper on it and it got buried and they never used it. So the Americans took the theory and built the first F-117.
Yeah.
But it's to do with the angle that the energy hits. Right, so the angles and deflecting the waves away from it is pretty much what you're after. The same as radar, that you want to try and dissipate it, or newer ones like the B2 use RAMs, radar absorbent material. So you wouldn't want to try and absorb an EMP. I would maybe think shit would start going on fire and melting. So you want to try and dissipate the wave round about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Paul's just said, have you ever heard a Scottish man swear? I've never heard a Scottish man not swear, if I'm totally honest.
Beat me to it. To be fair, the kids, I never used to swear as much.
No, then you have children.
And also had more hair and I was thinner. Seems to do something.
Yeah. This is what pregnancy does to men.
This is what pregnancy looks like in men.
Interesting one for TXM. The second part of that, did you try earthing your bin? Now, there's two schools of thought on this. People are saying earth it because it takes the charge away, but then they're saying earthing it could then obviously make it more of a target as well.
Electricity is like water, it takes the path of least resistance, right?
Yeah.
So if you've got an earth rod, it might encourage any energy that can't go anywhere, and it's actually, say you're getting a hard edge and you've got energy hitting the Faraday cage or whatever, then an earth rod in some circumstances may be beneficial, right? It might be beneficial. In other circumstances, it might not. To be fair, it's just a pain in the arse to do. So if you want to go to Screwfix and buy some multiflex, or don't use twin and earth, it will just break, but get some multiflex and an earth rod you'll get for a tenner. If you've got some place to put it and you want to stick it out the window or whatever, yeah, fill your boots. It won't do any harm.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's cheap.
Yeah, it's one of those. Is that worth the effort worth the reward? Is it actually necessary?
Just don't bond it to the house, right? Because if you've got an induced voltage coming through the pylons, right, they'll basically act as an antenna. They'll collect the energy. It'll culminate coming through your house, and that's when shit starts to go on fire and go pop. So if you're relying on the earth bond in the house, i.e. your third pin in your socket, that's already got problems as it is, because it won't be able to cope with all that energy and get it. It can't go to earth that quickly anyway. So you bonding to your house isn't what you want.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, you're on about the fires and stuff like that. That's one thing. People prep for this kind of thing, and they always talk about Faraday cages, but you need the fire safety stuff, because it's all right having a little fire on one socket, but if all your lines go at once, I've got 3 full-size powder extinguishers, and I'm still not sure if that'll be enough.
And see, to be fair, something else to think about, because I heard what you'd said earlier on, I totally agree. It made me think. So I stay in a mid-terraced house. It's okay me having fire extinguishers and being aware and watching out. If everybody else on either side of me or one of them goes up in flames, I'm still bollocksed. So if you generally perceive it's an issue that's enough risk to your home, it might be worthwhile having a fire watch on your neighbours as well.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'll let them burn up until a certain point and then try and get the fire out, and that'll reduce the risk of anyone taking my food, right? That's 2 birds.
You're the greatest heroes of all. Your sacrifice is appreciated.
I've got mine earthed to my central heating. Is that a mistake?
Yes.
For that very reason, that it'll bring more.
So the reason things will start to go on fire and pop, the electricity is travelling faster than most of your RCDs and MCBs can trip anyway. And even if they were tripping, if there's enough power behind it, enough voltage to push the current, it will jump it anyway. So your house earth already can't cope with the additional power that's getting pushed into it. So no, don't use your earth. Don't bond to the house. So
how would you earth it?
Buy an earth rod for Screwfix, take it at least about 15 feet away from the house and earth it there.
Yeah, so
because
you'd have to do it outside, yeah.
As a rule of thumb, if you're in a cherry picker, if you're within 15 feet of a pylon, which is about 30,000 volts, there's a chance it can jump and take a path to earth through you and down. So if you've got enough atmospheric that's going to induce voltage into the lines, then shit can jump.
Yeah, I did the banksman's course on the railways, and we learned all about that because of the overhead power cables on there. They can do some mean damage.
We used to do some interesting shit with electricity when I was at college. It was quite funny. Like the old Megas used to wind them up, and you would give it to your apprentice to hold, and they'd do the funky monkey jumping up and down and twitching. The newer ones are better. You just press a button and electrocute them. Or would wire up spark plug testers to doorknobs.
Yeah, yeah.
It might be the best thrill he's both getting a while. Gift horse and all
that. Paul was saying, what about your neighbour? I assume he was talking about the fire because he followed up with a very good point, Brian.
I hate my neighbour next door, so it's fine. I've already had a problem and sort of smacked him.
Yeah, Monkey Wrench says strong current will definitely arc. This is it. This is the thing.
See if you think you're a stun gun, right?
Yeah.
The saying is volts jolt, current kills. So effectively you're talking milliamps to put you into defib to kill you, but you could put your fingers across a 12-volt battery, which can effectively dump 350 amps, no problem. But there's not enough voltage coming out to overcome the natural resistance of your body. So the higher the voltage, the more likely it is to overcome the resistance being you, or the resistance could be an air gap. So the more the voltage, the more likely it is to push the current through. That could be pushing it through you, pushing it through the air. It just depends.
Yeah. Cool. There you go. See, look at this. We're all learning. Wooden leg, that's what I call a joystick. Yeah, so.
Well, I joke about
that. What do you think then of these flares? Are you perceiving it as a threat, or are we just going to get a light show?
Unless they join, I'm not unduly worried.
Yeah, I think
if we were to cannibalise, we might have issues.
Well, I think the 7 and the 9 are far enough apart because the 7's due to hit tomorrow and the 9's on the 6th. I think they're far enough apart where it's never going to catch it. So it's what happens in the next 24 hours.
Have you seen the pictures of what it does to the ionosphere when it starts to deflect under the bombardment? In this scenario, if it's close enough to it, it might already hit a weak in the balloon and poke through weak points. But most of the people in the Northern Hemisphere will get all the shit anyway. So, once again, God shits in Scotland's kettle.
But he gave you beautiful countryside. What more do you want?
Well, I'd like it not to rain 360 days out the year or have midges in the West Coast. Two little things, you know. I don't like having webbed feet and trench foot and a permanent cough.
Webbed feet, and he'll tell you it's to do with the rain. It's not centuries of inbreeding. Yeah.
Well, a long time ago in our family, I'm convinced incest and Twister got horribly confused at a party.
Oh, God. I worry about the magnetic polarity being mainly unknown, says Monkey Wrench. Are we talking polar shift there? Is that what he's on about with the magnetic polarity, do we think?
I don't know if it means if the magnetic pole moving, as in jumping and reversing.
Yeah. I'm not sure with that one. I've looked into it, and it just feels like it's a 100,000 year jobby, not a next week jobby with the whole polar shift. I use thicker steel, 2 or 3 mil thick, works a treat. There you go. You just need a 3 mil thick steel bin.
I've got enough weight in the loft as it is, and that's not counting me.
Let's face it, we've all been to those sort of parties.
Yeah, I'm barred.
Jesus Christ. Conversation.
No, he wasn't ready. He left the room.
What's that?
Jesus wasn't ready. He left the room.
He left the room a long time ago. He left Scotland a long time ago. Yeah, so I mean, that's pretty much it with updates. There's not much more I can tell people. It's weird not having the monitoring on because you can just sit there and let people watch it. So
I've not even seen the live chat. Sorry, I'm just kicking that back up.
You're right. The magnetic polarity of the flare. if it's opposite of the Earth's magnetics, it will be drawn in and do damage. If it's the same, Earth will deflect it easily and no damage. It's a 50-50 each flare. There you go.
I did not know that.
No, that's a new one on me. It's something I'll research, definitely. But we shall see. We'll find out in the next 3 days.
I was half expecting the door to get kicked in anyway after uploading the video with the plates, but it's been okay so far.
It's been all right so far.
Nobody shot me.
That's the armed police are too busy, sorting out crazy right-wing rioters,
Apparently, the people flinging beans on pictures is taking priority at the moment.
Yeah.
We're releasing people from prisons who have committed all sorts of horrible stuff, but we're going to lock up a couple of half-wits for flinging tins of beans on a picture.
Well, to be honest, I don't agree with the releasing criminals and wasting police time on stuff like that. But to be fair, I think there's a special place in hell reserved for the just stop oil people.
Just stop it being an offence when you run them over.
Yeah, I've seen a few close calls with them clips. Neil,
just let nature take its course.
Super sticker from Neil. That's much appreciated. All these donations are going towards a new computer eventually. They have a satellite that can tell, but it's so close to Earth that we won't know till 30 minutes before impact. It's how governments go to shut down in time, keep from frying grids. So if everything gets shut down quickly, we know it's happening. Is that just an American thing, I wonder?
First I've heard it, mate. If I'm being totally honest, I don't know. I was going to ask Kelly while he's on, did he get his Flymo fixed, his lawnmower? He'd done a video on it and my nose was bothering me.
All right.
Well, we're here.
Just stop ambulances, I call them.
Just don't use the middle pedal. That was good, Brain. I fixed 10 cents in it. Okay. Still not fixed it. How did you get on with the carburetor and the spindle?
You guys, I'll go make a brew. You guys have a conversation.
If you know anything about engines, mate, feel free to chip in. It's fine. I spent 20 years lying under.
When my lawnmower breaks, I put it in the bin and I get a new lawnmower. To be fair, I don't have a lawn, so.
Just for the record, I wasn't always a grease monkey with a shirt and tie on. I actually used to get my hands dirty for a long time, but I get fed up working for a living, so now don't do that.
Sat behind the desk and got the IT physique.
No, I still go out in sites. I just point to other people to fix it.
Paul, do a crowdfund. No, honestly, Paul, I'm. It's just something I've got to sort out myself. I appreciate it though. I wouldn't do something like that. I only ask for donations when it's for charity. No, I'm only joking, Kelly. I'm only joking. You crack on.
What you should do is tell the kids, right? There's been a solar flare. Santa got incinerated. Rudolph's now chops in Sainsbury's. So Christmas is cancelled and you can buy a computer.
Yeah. It's not going to
make a good video.
It's not going to fly. Yeah. What's the last video he uploaded before his channel got shut down? Oh, it was all his kids crying on Christmas Day.
Just put a picture.
And him setting up his new computer.
Santa the hero. Just got a burnt carrot and a Santa hat with flames licking out of it. Kids, oh no, and these melted wellies. Oh God. It's a thought. I'm going to So when do you think these two are going to hit then? Tomorrow?
So the 7's due tomorrow, but I don't know timings yet. I'm going to keep an eye on that Aurora map because if it hits during the day, then we ain't going to see NAF all anyway. So I'm just going to I was telling people that Aurora Reach /map, so everyone can like keep an eye on it themselves. That's the one. That's probably the most accurate and live one. But it is only live as much as you refresh the page. So when I've got it on my live streams, it's got an auto refresh. But yeah, I'll just keep an eye on that.
Work does get in the way of things that matter, like prepping, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass. Tell them Santa had his catalytic converter stolen. Yeah, all right. Would you kind of brainstorm how I can cancel Christmas? I like it.
We're thinking of you. That's what it is. People have got your back. I'll be in central London working for a week, so that'll be fun. So as long as nothing happens when I'm down there, it's a long walk.
Yeah. No, Kelly, I don't. I'm not doing that. I will sort it out myself. It's just a case of I've got to get Christmas out of the way before I do any of that. So I won't. I'm not going to go full Canadian Mikey or full funky Mikey and start asking you all for all your money. Your subscriptions and likes are all I want. And Miss Worm's not helping the situation. No, yeah. So
give generously, folks. Canadian Mikey needs a new computer
and a bunker.
And a bunker, that'd be nice.
I got 4,500. I've got 4,500 subs now. If they all become a member, that's $2.99 per member minus the 40% YouTube take. So you're looking like £1.50 a member. So what can I build a bunker for $6,000?
Mate, you wouldn't even pour the bottom pad for that.
I could buy a second-hand container for $6,000. I'd have to just do all the work myself.
You would get, that's the cheap bit, to be fair. You'll get a 32-foot shipping container for $2,500. That's the cheap part.
Must be cheaper near you.
Mate, there's loads of them. They're dirt cheap. The big problem is when you're trying to stiffen them, whether you're using I-beams, and then you need access to a welder and cutting the beams, whether it's oxyacetylene or a chop saw, and then a pad to sit it on and land. And
we're gonna have a conversation about this because I made it's not CAD. Do you remember Google had their own version of like the 3D drawings and stuff like that?
Mm-hmm.
Can't remember what it's called. What the hell was the software called? Anyway, I designed one based around a shipping container, but it was only the I-beams across the top, and it was using like the metal mesh around it and then pouring the concrete to set onto the container.
Yeah, just use it as a form. Probably if you got concrete money, the only value in the shipping containers it's framing purposes. So you effectively just want to use it as internal shuttering. Put some wooden beams on the inside just to stop it from deforming, and pour your pad around it. That's the best, mate. It's about the only real use for it. Save your fortune in steel.
Yeah, I remember. It's a nightmare. I remember doing shuttering, and pouring concrete for a bay for Marks and Spencer's for a truck to go into, like a loading bay, and had to vibrate all the air out. Oh, honestly, I felt like for a week afterwards, I was like this.
So many jokes. Oh, it's like manna from God. You're just feeding me here.
He's just overloaded. He's gone.
And that's when I get deplatformed, Your Honour. Don't tell me these things because I can't say anything. Or I shouldn't say anything.
I'm bringing in a shipping container here in the spring to set up as a shop. There you go. Make it underground. Make it an underground shop, Monkey Wrench, and it's 2 birds, 1 stone.
Do you know interesting thing you can get as well? You can get some like 6 and 10 mil thick septic tanks, and they're 33 feet long, 2.5 meters in diameter, with 2 entrances, an entrance on either side, and they're designed to be buried.
I don't fancy a pre-owned septic tank.
No, that'd be shite, mate. But you're looking at about 12 grand.
Yeah.
Weighs about 6 ton, yeah. But that would be interesting, depending on the plastic that you used and any potential leaching inside. But I mean, you could stabilise the interior with a suitable primer, spray it, and then you just need to put it in floors and frame it. But that would be a good one.
I mean, yeah, we are aware I have a yard that's about this wide at the moment and no garden. So this whole idea is based on land.
Have you never seen Colin Furs? Get under the floor.
Yeah, I should just go straight down on this rented property. Landlord comes round. What are you doing? Never mind. Just don't worry about me.
So, why be a statistic? Keep walking.
I
else is happening?
use septic would be a crappy investment.
Oh, don't. I don't want to poo-poo it. Very good, Miss Worm.
So we just start a roll of terrible jokes.
They're all shit. This might save me the bother of doing the next video. The next one I want to do is killing the power in the house, and just running it off the internal batteries and power banks. I might not have a choice the way things are going.
Yeah, I don't know how you're going to upload the video afterwards, though.
I can just sit and watch it and go, 2 people may have liked that video.
That's it. That would have been the one that went fucking viral.
I don't think so, but you live in hope. Well, ironically, the best one was the knife one.
Yeah, it's weird what flies and what doesn't. You can't predict it. It's like I've got two big videos I'm planning. Probably early next year now. I might do one in winter, but I want to do a full bug out based on a bike and a trailer with full kit and family. And I'm going to do another charity walk next year, but I want to walk the route that the 101st Airborne took. I'm not jumping in. I'm not parachuting in, but I'm going to start at the point they landed and I'm going to walk to Berlin. That's the idea.
Josh parachuted it and he had a wheelchair.
He's well, yeah, and Tom from Prepared Pathfinder's done 4,500 jumps. I'm like, Jesus, I won't do one.
Yeah. I'll become an avid parachutist when the plane's on fire, mate. Until that stage, no.
Even then, it'd have to be a really warm fire. A little kitchen fire, I'll risk it.
As any of my friends that know me will tell you, I've got a slight fear of flying.
I don't mind getting on a plane as long as I've had a half a bottle of whiskey and 2 Valium beforehand. No problems.
The big problem is it's the same when we go to theme parks. My job makes me risk averse with machinery because I spend all day looking for problems in machinery and things that could go wrong. So when I'm on an aeroplane, all you're doing is sitting listening for things that will go bang, pop, or crackle, and it's not much fun. And then you're getting dragged around Florida to theme parks looking at what could go wrong.
Yeah. Paul said I'd done that with my EcoFlow. And it does
what
work.
With it, sorry?
I don't know, he's on about where you're going to shut down the power and run off that.
Yes, that might be what he means.
Yeah.
I've got 3 of those that I'm going to use.
You shut down your power and plug in all your stuff. It's not going to really make much difference, is it? It's just going to be a normal day.
Yeah, but the content might be good.
Fucking luxury preppers,
Hardly.
Your video would be like, yeah, I'm just going to get a cold beer out the fridge and carry on watching Netflix. My same shutdown would be me with a candle and a book trying to read it like this.
Do you know it's really bad? Last year they were putting in a power line across the road and they cut the cable, so the lights were down for about 3 hours. It's like, everybody else was sitting upset. I opened the curtains, had lights on and the TV on, and had the router plugged in. It was great. It was like the time to shine. Offset went out the window. The curtains that were closed were open. I wanted people to see the power was on.
Look at me, guys. I'm going to regret this when the shit hits the fan, but look at me.
Brilliant. Mate, you get TB.
Huh?
You've got
I've not.
tuberculosis, don't you?
No, do you know what it is? My vapes are 5 milligram. It's the lowest strength, and because I forgot it when I went to work, I bought one of these disposables that's 20. So I'm just not used to the strength. So it's kind of knocking me out.
It's like I've always said, you shouldn't be addicted to things that you put in your body, right? You should be able to stop these things, Mike. Right?
I'm
At any
gonna
time.
write a script for this software that specifically blurs out Pepsi cans.
I can't understand how people could get addicted to things, right? Like vapes or smoking, or the sweet, smooth taste of Pepsi.
He's not even kidding. I've been to Brian's house and it's like open the fridge. It's like 2 shelves of Pepsi, and then there's a stack of Pepsi next to the fridge.
I had cut down before we went to America. I was going through 7 pallets a week, and I got it down to 2. So that was progress. That was really good.
Christ, have you ever tried that clear liquid stuff that comes out the faucet, the tap? You know,
There's water in it. There's water in the Pepsi. It's mostly water.
There you go. Should send a case of Coke to Brian. Coca-Cola, the premium.
For the benefit of any of our officers and our immigration or anybody else that might be watching this, he means Coca-Cola. I hope he means Coca-Cola.
Well, this is Kelly Monkey Wrench, who said to me, "Oh, I'll send you a tub of 1,000 Tylenol," because I was telling him what we got over here. I was like, "Don't do that. The
Please do.
Customs won't like that."
This worm's asking how many cans a day. An average about a full pallet, so usually about 24-ish.
A day?
Yeah.
That's not that. Your insides are tar.
They're fine. There's nothing left. It just comes right out. It's fine.
You sound like the chain smoker. Pepsi.
I can stop anytime I want.
See, when I used to be a heavy smoker and people would give me shit, I'd use the liquid terminator argument. That if I got shot through the lung, the tar would clog the hole up instantly, you know, like tire weld.
It must cost you a fortune. About 300 quid a month. Something like that. But I don't drink alcohol.
I don't even spend that on groceries with 3 kids.
Well, I don't know what to say to that. I need Pepsi.
Shocking.
I don't do much else with money other than drink Pepsi, so it's fine. It's totally fine.
Drink Pepsi, then once a year buy another EcoFlow to add to the stack of EcoFlows.
Oh, the prices have dropped like a stone now because the Delta 3 and stuff have come out. So you can get the old shape Delta Pro. You can get that for just over $2,000 just now.
Yeah,
prices have really dropped.
Well, when I posted up that Delta 2, the link is to the big one, but it's got all the other ones on there, but they've all got a price slash even on Amazon.
Think of all what was that, something you get women there? Because that's really what I need in my life. Paul, everything gets smaller as you get older, let me assure you.
Not everything.
Oh no, really, everything. You've just not found that yet. Trust me, everything.
No.
No, really.
Some things don't get smaller. Some things get lower.
No, what you're thinking of. No, sorry, that's just your waistline. It's nothing to do with the bit below it. I hate to burst your bubble. Think of all the wine, women, and song you could get for that. Yeah, I'd rather have the Pepsi, to be honest. Everything's smaller. It just looks bigger because they're sagging. Not in men, I'm afraid to tell you. No.
Right, this conversation's gone well off. Right, okay. It's gone down to a C rating. The solar flares. There's nothing happening right now. I think it's a good time to possibly sign off before we start talking about anatomy. And I die. Oh.
Kelly's lying his ass off here, just for the record. I think he means he's everyday carry.
I took mine into soccer. Oh dear. That's why I bring that up. You have to go for the Pro. It will power your house. Oh, he's talking about the big one, isn't he? The EcoFlow Pro.
What was this one?
That one.
Oh, yeah. The Pro's 3.6 kilowatts. It's a nice machine, and it's also got the removable LCD section on it as well.
So fully discharged, does that give out 3.6 kilowatts and then it's from 100 to 0? Is that what it...
Yeah, roughly, but you'll have slight inefficiencies with the inverter.
I could get like 20 miles in my car with that then.
3.6 is what you get on it.
What does it? What rate does it output the power at?
I'm sure that one's 3,000 max. But you can adjust it with the app. You can piss about with it. But you can also use that one. See the fast chargers? You can plug into the 7 kilovolt chargers for your electric car to charge it quicker.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when the shit hits the fan, I'm charging my car at Brian's house.
The only thing that lets it down is the shitty DC output.
Yeah.
So if you want to run a diesel heater or anything, they're still shit for that. You better run it through a DC, an AC to DC stabilizer. Run it in 12.6 volts because they suck.
Oh, picked up a unexpected prep that I've got to collect. Do you know I get the stuff from the auctions?
Yes.
Full old school Cala gas heater, the stand-up ones that you put a bottle in the back of. Half a bottle of gas still in it. £3.
Seriously?
Seriously.
That's good.
So that's my emergency winter heat sorted to this year.
Just fire it up outside and look at the colour of the jets and the flames and stuff and make sure it's all right before you take it indoors.
Yeah. Well, I was going to test it for leaks and stuff as well anyway. You know.
Soapy water.
Just hold a light around all the gaps. And
they used to do that in the old days.
Yeah.
True story, they actually used to check for leaks by doing that.
Well, yeah. When you found one, you definitely knew about it then.
Ironically, no. It was only when the gas got into a diluted concentrate that it was an explosive risk. So when you've got high concentration of gas, there's less chance of it going boom. But it's when it's in so many parts of the earth that it goes kaboom.
Oh, there you go. Carbon monoxide detectors, says Miss Worm. I've got them. Yeah, I've already got them. The big one will run the diesel heater, says Paul.
Can it do more than 8 amps? Some of the glow plugs can be a pain in the ass and start up.
Like 2 fried eggs in a football sock. Why did I say fried? I don't need. 2 eggs.
Jesus wept. Oh God.
I've had flashbacks from the gym.
What kind of gyms are you going to?
No, I don't care. Listen, whatever gym you go to, there's always one very inappropriate old man that'll just walk around naked for way too long. It's like, just get fucking changed and get out. What is wrong with you?
Well, it wasn't me. That time.
That time. No, you were in the ladies' locker room doing the same thing.
I was just making sure their preps were all on board. Your Honour.
A great thing about living in Florida, what's a heater?
Yeah, but what's a hurricane?
Oh, too soon.
Surf's up. It is a great place. It is a lovely place, I must admit. Favourite holiday destination.
Yeah, right. Genuinely, I'm going to. I think we'll sign off. Yeah, because it's all calmed down. Obviously, as soon as I start the graphs, everything stops. So hopefully nothing will happen. If anything happens in the next 24 hours, if I can, I'll jump straight back on, guys. So make sure you've got notifications turned on, and I'll let you know, because if it does cannibalize, and when we know when the auroras will hit, I'll also either put a post on the community or I'll jump on live again. But if it's not cloudy, I'll be out trying to get a view myself. So if it's not cloudy, that's a dreaming in
nice to see everybody. Sorry I've lowered the tone. You did ask me.
Yeah, would you like to say goodbye to the wonderful, wonderful, ethically
Goodbye,
questionable
everybody.
people?
I'm really sorry that he's dragged me down to your levels of inappropriateness. I'm easily led.
Yeah, and from me, guys, thank you. Big thanks to the guys that give me the super stickers as well. That's really appreciated. And for Miss Worm for moderating and posting links and all that lot. And I don't have a video to count us out, so I'm just going to have to play the normal one because I'm on the wrong thing. So, right. See you later, everyone. Catch you in the next one.
Cheers, mate.